Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. And welcome to ShiftCo, and this particular series is on meaningful money. It's going to be the topic of my third book, and it's really about how to align profit and purpose together, and that they really do go together. And that's what really conscious business is all about. I'll just briefly introduce myself, and then we have a couple of case studies who will be sharing their story with you as well. I sold a very successful business in early 2008, not because I knew there was going to be a financial crisis, but because I wasn't happy. And I just decided life is too short and I've got to figure out how to do something more meaningful. My purpose is to inspire potential. And even though I was very successful in that business, I was miserable. And so I started my first concept, which is Succeed on Purpose. And Succeed on Purpose is kind of like a purposeful Shark Tank. And we cultivate business ideas, and then we invest in concepts. And some of that has worked out really well, and some of it hasn't worked out really well. But this idea that you can have both meaning and money just has been just part of who I am. As part of the cultivation of some concepts, I developed a methodology that I now call the Conscious Business Growth Platform. And it's a set of tools and methods for scaling a business through those 6 different phases, from starting up where you've got zero revenue to 10 to 30K a month to million plus to 1 to 2 and so on and so forth. So that methodology is really the basis of ShiftCo. And then our portfolio of concepts, of course, Succeed was our first one, then Ignite on Purpose and Promote on Purpose, and then Talent on Purpose, and now ShiftCo really came out of that methodology. And I'm really excited because a lot of my clients and students over the years asked me specifically to create a methodology or to create a community rather around that methodology, and that's what ShiftCo is. What we're going to talk about today is meaningful money. What is it? How do you build something that matters? And again, I've got several case studies that people are going to share the why they started their business and the how they did it. We'll talk about the 3 Ps of conscious entrepreneurship, and you'll leave here with some really powerful tools that you can instantly put into practice to help you really dial that in. We'll talk about how to combine purpose and profits, that they're not either or. And then we'll end with some authentic growth strategies around what ShiftCo is. If you've just joined us, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box, because we'd love to get to know you. So I want to first of all start with this idea of meaningful money. I told you I had that big epiphany in 2008. And the big idea when I started the first concept was there had to be a way to do something meaningful and make money. I didn't want that to be an or. I wanted to figure out how to do both. And of course, at the time, I thought it would be very easy to do, but it's not. And part of it is getting out of your own way, and part of it is getting into alignment, and part of it is doing the right thing for the right reasons. And you'll hear some of our experts today talking about that alignment and talking about the fact that it hasn't always worked the way that they thought, but that it is really about doing the right thing for the right reasons. And where this idea for meaningful money came from was, if you've ever read this book, Delivering Happiness, from the founder of Zappos, this book was one of those big ahas for me. And one of the things that he talked about was this combination of how awesome you feel, or happiness, combined with how long that feeling lasts. And I knew for myself that I didn't feel the kind of happiness that he was talking about in that book, that I had felt these spurts of happiness, and that, sometimes success brought me happiness, but it didn't seem to last. And if you've ever read this book, he really distinguishes between these 3 types. And a lot of what happens in the world is we seek pleasure, and he calls that rock star happiness, chasing the next high. And I was on that bandwagon. It was the next challenge, the next client, the next 100,000, the next trip. And I was really chasing those highs, but I found them to be very fleeting. Now, I thought, like most of us do, that passion would solve that if I just did what I was passionate about. And so I tried to re-engineer my business in 2007 around my passions and this idea that if I enjoyed more of what I did, and again, this was a very large business. It was close to 10 million in annual sales. And I was restructuring the business and rebuilding my leadership team, thinking if I could just do more of what I was passionate about, that I would be happy. And after a year of attempting that, I found out that that wasn't it either, that it was deeper. And it was Tony's book that really helped me realize that it was really about purpose and having your business and your work being about something bigger and this deep desire that we have to make a difference. And if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it because it was the pivot point for me to begin to say, you know what, from this point forward, I am going to build my entire life and whatever my business ends up being around doing something purposeful, something bigger, and making a difference. And that's what we're going to talk about today with Meaningful Money. I want to start with our first guest. I met her a couple of years ago, and right away, it was one of those, we were on an advisory board for a company together, and I heard her describe her business. And when she described her business, this light just filled the room. And I knew that I had met, a soulmate, a business soulmate, that her business was purposeful. And for her, it was really about making a difference. So Leslie, tell us a little bit about Marriage Champs, why you started it, what it means to you, and really what it means to make a difference with your business.
Thank you, Terry, for inviting me and for having me. Marriage Champs really is my baby. It was birthed primarily out of my desire to improve my own marriage, actually. Things were just kind of falling apart for us in 2012, and my husband was unhappy, and I was just really frustrated at not being able to connect and being able to figure out how to make my marriage work. So from that, I just tried to figure out a way to connect with him in a way that really mattered for him. And what matters to him, what he was really passionate about, what I noticed was that he was really passionate about sports, particularly football. He's a former athlete, gets really excited on football Sundays. And so one Sunday I was watching him be excited, and I said, you know what, if I can just take an ounce of that passion and dump it into our marriage, we'd be awesome. So I asked him one Sunday, hey, how is it so easy for you to be like, to work with other people and you get so excited when you watch these things and team, but it's difficult for you to work with me? And he said, it's just different. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, yes, it is. And I said, no, it's not. And I'm going to show you. So I started to think more like a teammate. And I would say things and do things using sports analogies, and it was working. So then I started using it with the couples that I was working with in counseling, and it just really started to work for me. And I said, you know what, I might be onto something here. So that's kind of how Marriage Champs was birthed. It was really a personal desire. But then as I started to work with other couples and saw how it was improving their marriages, I wanted to continue and to go further to see how many more couples I could impact. So that's kind of where the idea came from. And then from that, all these other ideas just started to come. So, the platform that we are creating, which is kind of the vehicle that we utilize to reach couples, that really came from seeing couples in counseling that were having challenges around social media. And so I was thinking, wow, if social media is a problem for couples, what can I create that would help to improve people's marriages as opposed to tear it down? So it's just seeing one problem after the other and trying to be innovative and creative in a way that really makes a difference and helps improve people's lives. So that's kind of how things evolved and are still evolving for Marriage Champs. I absolutely am passionate about showing people, loving well myself, and also teaching others how to love well. And really, Terry talks a lot about purpose, and my purpose is to teach other people how to love each other well. So I'm very passionate about it. It excites me. I could spend all day long talking about ways to do that and what that looks like. And it just is the thing that brings me the greatest joy. So when you really figure out a way to align your purpose and passion, in a meaningful way, something that you can wake up every day and be excited about and proud of. It is just the most amazing feeling in the world. And then make a profit, like the cherry on top. So that's me. That's Marriage Champs. And I hope that answered your question, Terry.
Yeah, and I do have a question for you. What's the difference between doing couples therapy and doing Marriage Champs? Because I've seen you talk about both, and I can see the difference. To me, this is the difference between passion and purpose. Like, you have a passion for helping couples in therapy, but Marriage Champs just feels purposeful. So describe the difference for just a little bit so people can understand that very important distinction.
Well, the difference is when you see couples for counseling, it is more about providing a service for them and helping them to improve. And then you kind of discharge them, and that's it. Marriage Champs is really about building relationships and connecting and kind of facilitating, providing a community of support for people. It's long term. Counseling is not a long term deal. You see people for a certain amount of weeks or sessions, and then you say, bye, good luck, have a great life. And that's pretty much it. So, Marriage Champs is kind of a company that wants to come alongside and walk with couples for the course of their marital relationship. So, it really is something different, a different approach. Counseling is great and it helps couples, but Marriage Champs is kind of that middleman between when people are dating and things are really good and people are having in a crisis and they need intervention. Marriage Champs is really that middle ground that comes alongside and kind of walks with people and is a guide for couples and an encourager, a cheerleader that you can do this, and we're going to help you and be there to cheer you on every step of the way. So counseling is sort of shorter term. People have a real you just go in these many sessions, that's it, thank you, and the end. This is kind of a ongoing relationship that we're building with people, to really let them know that we care, because we do. Ultimately, we care about their success. Ultimately, we want people to know that when you're successful, we feel the most pride and we are celebrating with you. We want you to win. We want you to do well in your marriage and your relationships. And that's the thing that makes the difference for us. It's not money. It's not, how many, it is, can we help couples have happy, healthy, fulfilling, satisfying relationships long term? Hope that
I
answers.
love that. Yeah, and so it seems like this is like the thing you were really meant to do. And I know as well as anybody that thing we're meant to do a lot of times is not always easy. So talk to us a little bit about how you've overcome just the challenges of building a business, and how that purposeful aspect gives you a different type of perseverance to press on.
So the thing about building a purposeful business from my perspective is that in the business world, everyone is like, well, you're in business to make money. That's the goal, right? The profit is the goal. When you're building a purposeful business, that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal for us is impact. How many couples can we impact in a positive way? And that may not equate to billions of dollars, but the impact that it makes on families and legacies, that thing, you cannot put a dollar amount to that. There is no value. You couldn't pay us enough for the impact that has on generations to come. And so when you're building a purposeful business, it is trying to marry, if you will, business, the idea that business is about profit with your desire to achieve your purpose and to really make an impact. And sometimes, a lot of times in the business world, people don't understand that. And sometimes it's hard to get people, investors and things like that, because they're like, oh, that sounds good. That's wonderful. I've had people tell me, this is great. Why don't you make it a nonprofit? Because then people would just,
Hmm.
donate to you as opposed to you trying to figure out. That's a great purpose. It's really, but is that really scalable? Is that something that you really can make a lot of money doing? So that's the challenge that I have had to overcome in terms of trying to grow and scale a business, is how do I do that without losing sight of the fact that we really care a lot about impact. So how do we make a great impact, but also make profit? What does that look like? And then sometimes it's pivoting, it's making changes, it's tweaking, it's constantly thinking about, okay, how can we do this? How does this look? And when I first started, Marriage Champs looks different now than when I first started. And so it's reminding myself and having other people to remind me, like the members of Shift Co, that no, pivots are good, changes are good. That means you're growing. That means things are getting better. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It doesn't mean, or maybe even you might be, that didn't work. So we can't do that. Let's do something different. So it's constantly being flexible and understanding that this is an ongoing process. It's constantly changing. It might look different, but the purpose stays the same. The purpose is the same. It's the same. It's just the way that we get there may need to change and may need to shift. So that's kind of what I've learned. And those are some of the challenges that I have experienced when it comes to building a purposeful business.
I love that, Leslie. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I would encourage anybody to check out Marriage Champs. She's got an amazing YouTube page. Connect with her on LinkedIn. She's really got something going on, and we're really grateful that you're part of our community, Leslie. And then I want to segue from that into this idea of the meaningful money and money. And you've probably seen this graphic before, which our team was nice enough to animate for me, because it really does sum everything up. That, purpose is at the heart of the things you love, the things you're called to do, but also the things that are your vocation and profession that you're really good at. Like that idea that it really is at the heart of it. And once I understood that it wasn't an or, I thought I can either make money or I can make a difference in the world. Once I really understood that my purpose was going to bring me to the center of all of those things, my approach to my business really started to change. And one of the big insights that I uncovered were what I call the 3 Ps of conscious business or purposeful business. The first one, of course, is purpose. And purpose is about your why. Why are you doing this? And for me, my purpose is to inspire potential, and that's why I do it. I want to inspire potential of conscious entrepreneurs all over the world and help them achieve their highest, greatest self and their highest, greatest vision for their business. But there's 2 other parts to it. One is really understanding what we're passionate about, and then also what I call a persona. Personas were one of the big breakthroughs that I had because I kept going off track when I was following my why, but I kept going off track. And it was really because of my persona, which I'll talk about in a minute. And persona is what you are designed to build. Passion is what you like to do. Persona is what you're designed to build. And I started researching this in 2010 and 2011, and a company called Pro that I had invested in helped me do this research. And we found that there were 3 very different business personas. The first one is a doer, and doers are motivated by tasks and getting things done. They make great solopreneurs, great coaches, great consultants, and they're just get this thing done, move to the next, get this thing done, move to the next. The second persona is a solver, and probably about 50% of all entrepreneurs are solvers. Solvers are motivated by solving problems and experiencing freedom. Now, you can enjoy getting things done. Like if you're one of those people that, write something on the list you've already done just so you can cross it off, that's fine. But is your motivation in the doing, or is your motivation in the solving? Solvers really like freedom, and they make great solopreneurs and great micropreneurs. And many of them can also scale their business as well. But for a solver, the motivation is freedom. It's really about give me the problem to solve and let me move to the next problem. I am a builder, and this is where I was getting myself off track. Builders are motivated by building things, ideas, programs, people, creating value. I'm like a builder. So typically we have two of these in us: builder solver, solver doer. I'm a builder. So, you know, I launched way too many concepts. I invested, you know, too aggressively. Thought I was, you know, further along than I was, and my builder had overtaken my purpose. And so if you're a builder, you actually have to slow down to solve and do, and not get too far ahead of yourself. And if you're a solver, you can't let yourself get stressed out by the building. You know, you've got to get comfortable. And if you're a doer, you also have to find joy in the other pieces. So what I discovered with this business persona system is if I could align my persona, which is what type of business am I designed to build, with my purpose, and keep them in alignment, my builder wouldn't take off and run and do the next thing before the first thing was successful. So there's a quiz that we'll be happy to send you to help you determine which one of these personas is yours. It's one of the things that we've built into SHIFCO, is we give different pathways based on our members' personas. Builders like to go a certain way, solvers like to go a certain way, doers like to go another way. So this know thyself and knowing what type of business you're really well suited personality wise to build, and getting that into alignment with your bigger why was one of those big breakthroughs. And with that, I want to introduce one of our other guests. I don't remember exactly where we met, but she was one of those people when she walked in her office, like the whole room just lit up. And I was just enamored with her personality, enamored with her experience. And I was really delighted when she joined SHIFCO, particularly because she was not only coming with, you know, a series of businesses she's already been successful with, but a really special business that warmed my heart. So Rita, tell us about Boxages and tell us about the legacy that you're building with this brand.
So Boxages is a family business, and we sort of accidentally happened into it. My mother passed about 3 years ago, and all of our events were always centered around her, you know, birthdays and holidays. And we were a family. I'm the oldest of 6. And so we would come together from wherever we were to celebrate. And when she passed, we made a commitment, because at that point, the 6 of us became the elders of the family. And I hate to admit, but being the oldest of the elders, I really felt a sense of responsibility. And I looked at my family and I thought, we, in her honor and for us, we need to continue to bond and stay together. And so we decided that for every person in our family, that 4 generations down. So that was me, my children, and my sisters and brothers' children, their children. And so we had like 4 generations represented. And we said, everyone is going to get a birthday gift to celebrate their special day. And even if we can't be with them, it will be a birthday party in a box. And so we had a lot of fun with that for about a year. And other friends and other families started asking us, they said, that is such a cool idea. Can you maybe help us do that? Or, you know, can you make boxes for us? And so we started doing that. And so it was born out of relationship. And it was so neat, because probably about almost a year ago now, as we've been doing this all this time and having fun with it as a family, we thought, you know, I think we're onto something here. And what it made us think about was the fact that there's something that has happened with the whole notion around giving gifts. You know, and I'm guilty of it as well. It's easy to just order something off Amazon, or to run into the store and get a gift card, or, you know, just pick up a little something that we think they might like, but really without giving it a lot of thought. And I opened my gift closet one day, and I have so many things that very thoughtful people have given to me, but it was obvious they really didn't know what I liked, because a lot of that, you know, probably is going to go in the regifting basket. And so we thought, how can we put more meaning and care into giving. And so Boxages has evolved over the last year from us going to the hobby stores and buying boxes and then curating those boxes and selling them because of the messages that were on the box, because we wanted something that was a keepsake. But then as you know, COVID happened and the supply chain happened and you couldn't get things out of China anymore, those supplies were starting to dry up. And we thought, but we really feel like we have a purpose here to provide this kind of a service. And so we researched and we found other suppliers that we could get boxes, but they didn't have anything on them. So we said, okay, we're going to have to figure out how we put our own messages on the box. And that has evolved now into our differentiation because we do custom handmade gift boxes with special messages. It's almost like having a Hallmark card on a box. And we do boxes for all ages, all occasions, anything you can imagine, we can put it on a box now. Family pictures, anything at all. And I just got off a call earlier today, and we have Zoom calls regularly throughout the week. And my family in Atlanta is doing a box order for 51 boxes. And they were showing the kids and the grandkids and the dogs running around, and they're on the kitchen table, and these boxes are being wrapped and shaped. And it just warms my heart because I wanted something that personally could be a legacy for my family and that could go on through the generations as something that we can pass on and carry on. And in the process, we can make a lot of people happy. And eventually we'll probably be adding a lot of people to help us with this project. So it has so many gifts within this opportunity of starting this family legacy. I've always been in businesses that were service oriented, entrepreneurial, similar to what Terry was talking about. But
you're a builder, I know.
Yeah, they were about making money and they were about growing, you know, a business. And I'm like you, Terry, I'm kind of that, you know, builder. I've had multiple things that I've started, but, you know, one day you wake up and you just go, what is the legacy going to be? What do I leave behind? Because when I stop coaching or consulting or doing whatever I do, the business stops. And, you know, what did it matter? And so this is something that every time somebody looks at their box, they're going to know somebody special is thinking about them. And we're going to know that we as a family helped to bring this into the world. So that's
I love that.
the purpose. That's the big why. And I get really, really excited about it. And I get so excited about working with my family, although I will tell you, there are some challenges. Terry's done some special coaching for me because, you know, there's a fine line between being challenging and encouraging and being authentic and letting everybody have a voice. So you've got a 15-year-old who has a voice. You've got, you know, a 23-year-old who has a voice. You've got a 49-year-old who has a voice, and then you've got the 57 to 60-year-olds who have a voice. And when all those voices come together, sometimes it's a bit of a challenge because we all have different perspectives. But it's a lot of fun working with the family and seeing them really get involved and really committing to something that is a bigger purpose than anything else they've ever done.
So I'm curious, how do you keep your family focused on the purpose? Because I know for you, the special thread is the legacy that you're leaving and transferring your business builder guru onto them. But how do you keep them focused on the purpose behind the business where they don't get into the numbers of the boxes or getting the orders out, but they really maintain that special sense of meaning that you guys, really the business was born with?
Yeah, and you're so right because that's, I have one sister that's a CPA and hers is all about scaling the business, and building it. And I constantly have to say to stop. And now part of our meetings, our ongoing meetings, is to revisit that purpose. And it's gift boxes for all occasions. We want to, create something that's meaningful that people care about. But you know what I find is the more they work directly with our customers now, you can't help but feel it because the customers are so excited when you can talk to somebody about what's important to that person or to those people that they're giving the gift to, and you start to get into their story, and it takes it away from I'm making 50 or 60 or 100 boxes. Now it's, you know what, I'm going to make 50 or 60 or 100 people so happy. And the time and the effort, they're going overboard now. The more and the closer they can get to the customer and their story, and then we spend time on our meetings just reinforcing what our purpose is, and that's what has kept us. We had to do something recently because we were having like 2 or 3 meetings a week that were more business because I don't know about, I have never been in a business where it was a product. I've always been in the service business. And this has been, I feel like I'm at stage 1 sometimes learning because you've got logistics, supply chain, inventory. You've got so many things that I never had to be concerned about in a service oriented business. And so we were getting to the point where it was all our family, all we were talking about was the business. And so we decided that now every Sunday, we're going to just take time to have family time. And it's so hard for them now not to bring the business into those conversations because they want to, share the good news and what about this and what about that. And I said, no, we're going to save that for our business meetings and we're just going to spend that family time because we can't lose sight of where this started. So
I love that. I love that. And we had our first official board meeting this past weekend. And one of the things that we instituted along that lines was we called it the Mission Minute. And we just told stories of how SHIFCO members' businesses have been helped because of SHIFCO, because we don't want our board to lose sight. And so, you're right to really kind of hold that flame for them so that we don't get lost in the business and we stay connected to that purpose.
Absolutely. And it's easy to do that when you're building and when you're, in the thick of it. And we're learning so much as we go. Every order, we learn something new, and now all the shipping companies are delayed and we've learned to under promise and over deliver, because we can't control some of those things. So it's a lot of fun. And I hope all of you have an opportunity to try and order a Boxages for somebody special.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Count on that for sure. Well, awesome, Rita. Thank you for being part of the community and thank you for bringing your light to SHIFCO. We appreciate it. And I know your business is going to make a huge difference in the world.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all your help and the support of all the members in SHIFCO. It's been a lot of fun and I'm learning a lot. Don't think that an old dog can't learn new tricks because we can all learn every day. So
I love that. And then our third guest speaker is one of our coaches. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he's just a guy that he touches businesses and they grow. So Kevin, talk to us a little bit about growing purposeful and conscious businesses.
Yeah, for sure. That picture there does not look like me now. So this is a Movember mustache, and a quick poll, thumbs up. Down like my Movember mustache. All right, thumbs up. Come on, everybody's got to vote. Thumbs up.
We got some mediums. I like the mixed look, the rugged look.
That's what I was thinking, but I decided to do it hardcore this year and just go with the mustache. And I have to be honest, the first day I woke up in the morning, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, the cops are chasing me. Either like a police or some occupation from the 70s that I probably shouldn't mention. But anyway, so I want to talk about combining purpose and profit. And as we're talking about this, it starts with you, right? And so when I think about us and think about myself, there's a Mark Twain quote that resonated with me for a really long time. And it reads, "The two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why." So once you find your passion, the thing you were born to do, right? The business that aligns with your superpower, then it's easier to build your business model with purpose built into it to create, deliver, and capture value to a wider variety of stakeholders, right? The value you capture drives profit. Purpose is the long game to sustain your profits. It's not easy. Purpose has to be hardwired into your entire company, its people, its product, and its processes. When purpose is hardwired, it's authentic, right? And it ensures that you walk the talk. Your KPIs become more than just about driving revenue and ops metrics. You create purposeful metrics to aim for. Purpose becomes one of your competitive advantages. With purpose, you make decisions from the inside out for your customers, for your community, and for the planet. So to me, purpose and profit are infinitely linked. They're this, right? That infinity symbol. So that's the way I've always thought of it. So back to you, Terry. Any redirects or additional questions?
One of the things that I would like for you to address is, you're a serial entrepreneur. You've got your hands in a lot of different things. How do you stay aligned yourself and keep your compass in alignment?
Yeah, it took a long time to do it. So, I'm a 6-time founder, co-founder. The same mistakes you made, Terry, I made as well, right? I was more focused. I have a financial background. My MBA was a focus in finance. So I was all about, let's help drive shareholder wealth maximization. Let's do it that way. And the same thing happened to me. I wasn't happy. So, it comes down to doing things that make you happy. I mean, there's sacrifices you make in the spirit of being happy, as it applies to your bottom line. But after doing it a few times, it just came to me that I have to do this, the best way I can. And I have to do this with passion, with that inside alignment, with everything centered. So what I do is I just keep going back to that feeling. I'm able to conjure that feeling up, just through meditation, through breathing, through doing some of those things. And really the cool thing to me was starting new businesses. Now that I've got this approach, the easiest time to build purpose in your business is when you're first starting, right? Because like I mentioned, I can embed it in everything we're doing. I can embed it in the people that I'm, recruiting. I can embed it in, it has to be more than just a mission statement. I can embed it in, customer onboarding, customer success ongoing, the customer journey. Like I mentioned, we embed it into our KPIs, the things that we measure our building, our business. Are we building a successful business? And some of those are financial metrics, and other things are, the ways that we share our purpose in the community and in the planet. So it's happened through trial and error, but it's like one of those things, when you got it, you feel it, and you got it, and you just kind of conjure that feeling up again, and it becomes repeatable. So that's the best part of it of all.
Yeah, and I think for me, as a builder that has to constantly rein myself in, what I do is anything I look to invest in, anything I'm looking to build, anytime anyone asks me to speak or to do anything, I say, will this help me inspire potential, which is my purpose? And I use that as a filter. And over time, I've noticed, probably 90% of my world today is purposeful, which is amazing. And then secondly is I make different decisions because I'm in that alignment. Do you find the same thing, Kevin?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, you've got a different set of tools to work with, right? And, again, once you've bought into it and it becomes hardwired into your DNA, then it's easier to make those decisions. So you stumble out of the gate, but then you get better as you go. It's interesting too now when you look at buyers and potential buyers. I mean, because of the pandemic, buyers, are considering purpose. It's everything that's happening, the shift, if I use that word, is pointing directly at conscious entrepreneurs, because now buyers are taking a longer, harder look at where and how they spend their money. And they care about companies that have a purpose, and have a bigger purpose than profit, and combine the two elements together. So yeah, it's really invigorating. So that's what keeps me going, keeps me centered, to just, I used to have my motto when I got up in the morning used to be rise and grind. And now it's rise and create. And I think Shifco was talking that. So really happy about that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for being a coach on the Shifco platform. And, I've benefited from getting to know you and working with you, and I know our members will as well. So thanks so much. And thanks to all of our guests. I'll just end with just a couple of things about what Shifco is. It's really about meaningful impact and business success. And there's three things that you can take to the bank with Shifco. One, your business will grow. If you apply the methods on Shifco, your business will grow. You can read the testimonies on the website. You can look at the video on the bottom of the page. Your business will grow. Secondly, you will get support from an amazing community. The one thing that everybody says is, oh my God, the community is amazing. I ask for help, people jump in. And there's all of these experts, many of, if you've heard three of them today, who will jump in to collaborate with you to help. And this idea that collectively we will make a bigger impact is really what we want to create, is that we're stronger together. And if we will collaborate, we can do amazing things. So that's just a tad bit about Shifco. We use a platform called Shift Connect. That's how we all interact. It's got different groups in it. We're all in different groups depending on, different things that we're working on, but we collaborate in those different groups. There's happy hours, but the main thing is the core engine is how your business will grow. And there's three learning pathways, three core pathways: business, leadership, and personal. And we license content from master teachers all over the globe. And they place their content on our platform, and then we combine those into pathways. And that's a very important distinction. So everybody's not learning the same thing. You follow a pathway that really fits what you need. And how that works is you have a mentor, and the mentor helps you figure out what do you need to actually focus on, because we all don't need the same thing at the same time. Then you get prescribed an online learning path and a coach to help you apply it to your business, people like Kevin that help you apply it to your business. And that's how we do the how part of how you actually grow a conscious business. And then we wrap everything in this amazing community with people like the ones that you heard today that are up to big things and that are willing to work side by side with each other to collaborate together. The engine is based on the Conscious Business Growth platform of moving through these different phases. When you choose where you are and where you want to go, you go into what we call a map, and the map helps you figure out, how do I go from point A to point B? Whether that's launch or shape, that's map A. If you're in build and evolve, that's map B. And then if you're in grow and scale, that's map C. And so each of these different phases have a different map. And then within those maps are different pathways. For example, in launch and shape, there's about 20 different pathways to move through launch and shape. In build and evolve, there's about 22 different pathways because there's a lot going on in there. And then grow and scale, there's 14 different pathways. And so we've got these different pathways to move through these different phases. And you start wherever you are and you decide wherever you want to be. It's totally up to you, but you just are part of our community, and you get a mentor, a coach, and a set of learning pathways to help you advance your business, plus this amazing community. So we'd love for you to come grow with us.